since you've been working in the fitness industry, what is the biggest surprise that you've had to deal with that you did not see coming?
I would say, and it shouldn't have come as a surprise, but this is basically why I do what I do. Like I said, growing up as an accountant, I was literally helping my dad out because he was a CPA, and I studied accounting in high school through college. And I worked for 8 years at a firm that was all other accountants. And I realized I was immersed in this subculture of other CPAs, and being the dumbest one at the conference table, I still knew more than like the average person about this topic, right? Because I forget that I studied this and this is something I dedicated a lot of my time to. And coming out of that and actually falling in love with fitness and going to my Zumba classes in Boston, where I started my career, and really finding that sense of community, meeting other people from all different backgrounds. I mean, we had other instructors in our studio that were TV producers, engineers, everything, and getting to know them and realizing that the stuff I knew was not common sense. The stuff around taxes was not taught in most schools, and realizing I was incredibly blessed and lucky to have opportunities to learn these things and to find them to be easy to understand such that I could actually teach them. And a lot of my content on Instagram and on videos is me explaining a lot of these concepts in a very simple way that caters to the fitness industry, because it is simple. It's just no one explains it that way simply. So a lot of accountants are going to be using jargon that nobody understands, and then you tune out and you just disassociate and think, whatever, I'll pay you, make the problem go away. But what I realized as the surprise to get to the answer is just that I really had something there that wasn't expected. I didn't expect it to be not common sense to some people, and realized that I could actually serve this, and I had a role in this community to help with that.
Yeah, and I like that story because it's a great analogy to the fitness industry, because you can spend, 4 years studying exercise science, maybe play some sports, and then you just have these, and you're always around people who are exercising and no exercises, and you're in the lab or you're doing whatever, writing papers on exercise science. And so you get so familiar with these basic principles and the nuances that you think that, this is common sense. And then you go to train clients, you're like, oh yeah, just, a triple extension on that jump. And they're like, what do you mean triple extension? I thought you said you wanted me to jump, and then a lot of them fall in love with the jargon because look how smart I am because of the vocabulary that I'm using.
Right.
But like you said, clients glaze over when you do that.
It makes you unapproachable. It makes you unapproachable because you can't relate. Because I had this happen where a trainer would say something like, gosh, it was like something about a squat position. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. Like when you say chest up, I'm like, I can't put my chest up and do the thing and do this. Like, what do you mean by that? And then someone would finally say it in like a kinesthetic cue. Like, like when you're doing a row, they'd say, okay, pretend there's an egg between your shoulder blades, crack it. And I'm like, oh, okay. But if you try to explain the biomechanics, I'm like,
exactly.
People will learn differently based on what you tell them will relate to their daily lives. And that's what I try to do with money.
Yeah. And that's important, because I think that's an important component of educating. If your students aren't learning, then you're not teaching, so you have to deliver the information in a way that not only they can understand and relate to, but sticks. I read a book called, can't remember, but he talked about using word darts, that just stick, you know what I mean? And so it's the same thing when you're educating. So whether it's teaching fitness professionals how to do accounting or teaching your clients how to do a squat, it's about education. And if they don't understand what you're telling them, then you're not educating them.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients too, but my clients are a lot of trainers, gym and studio owners. And whenever they kind of go, oh, I don't understand this stuff, this doesn't make sense, or they start getting discouraged, I say, I want you to just hold on to that feeling for a second. That's how your client feels when you say do burpees. Like hold on to that. That's what they feel like before they meet with you, because maybe they're just not feeling exercise right now. They don't love it like you do necessarily. They know they need it, but they may not love it. They may look at exercise like you look at money. So you have to be sympathetic to that and remember how that feels, and just be able to relate to your client on that level, and think about what would you like to hear when you're meeting with your accountant and you're like, I gotta go through all this now. It's like, that's how they feel. Remember that. So think
Yeah.
about what you would tell them.
So you make people do their financial burpees. I get it.
Exactly. Financial boot camp.